What up dudes, Alfredo here with yet another Division video. This one is the vendor reset vid for May 20th, 2016. And from now on, I'm doing all these vendor reset videos on my second character who has purchased nothing in the DZ whatsoever. This is a fresh character that's reached level 30 and hasn't done anything in the DZ, nothing but PvE stuff. So now you know. Moving things forward, we are looking at these special gear vendors. You got a tactical MK16 assault rifle. It's got PvE roles with destructive and predatory. Very large amount of Phoenix credits for this purchase. I don't really see anyone picking this bad boy up. The Vector 45 ACP is going to have a very decent, more than decent roll for damage, crit chance, and it does have brutal and determined. Determined isn't a terrible talent, but it's not great at the same time. Ferocious, if you can have that activated, is going to be a PvE talent. And then Brutal, of course, is a very much must-have for SMGs. The thing is, though, if you really don't have a solid weapon, sure, go ahead, pick it up. But you've got to really think hard, guys, because 1.2 is right around the corner. This is 822 Phoenix credits that you're going to be spending that you're not going to have for when the 1.2 update drops. And also think about it. They talked about how the 1.2 update is very generous with loot, right? And then on top of that, they did increase the amount of weapon drops in, like, say, the DZ. So if you really need this right away, go for it. But I honestly would say just hold off and farm and hit the ground running hard when 1.2 comes out. Let's take a look at the 204 operator mask. It's got electronics and enduring. If that's your sort of thing, it does have a mod slot. These gunslinger gloves, even though they look cool at first glance because they're 204, and they are stamina, they've got astute, which is just not worth it. You got to have the savage, man. And then you only have the crit damage when, you know, you should be having almost perfect rolls for gloves, because gloves are going to be very important for, especially to those that are building into damage and whatnot. All right, guys, so that's it for the special gear vendor. Let's go ahead and move over to the DZ. What up, dudes? Currently chilling at DZ2, and let's go ahead and see what the vendor has to offer. Scrolling down to the 204 blueprints, we've got the holster, stamina gloves, stamina knee pads, electronic knee pads, and yes, that is an electronic holster. The only thing that I can think of that is worth picking up are the stamina gloves at 204, simply because the talent Savage is still going to work very well with a lot of people's builds in 1.2, so looking ahead, that might be something that you will need in the future or might want in the future. Besides that, the holster, knee pads, they don't really have talents that warrant crafting that over slotting in a gear set piece. So moving on to DZ3. Alright guys, this is the vendor that everyone cares about, the DZ3 weapons blueprint vendor, and this week what are we looking at? A 182 SOCOM M1A. It doesn't have great rolls for a sniper rifle. Moving down, we've got a pistol at 204 if you still don't have a pistol with a gear score of 204. And then we've got a custom M44 blueprint. Very nice. I was waiting for this guy to roll around with the rework of the talent balance. I think an M44 could work really well with that. This is, of course, compared to the M1A, slower rate of fire, but it's going to hit a lot harder. So I mean, honestly, I think both M1A and M44 are great sniper rifles. I think these are blueprints that you should own and then just kind of decide which one you like better. But yes, personally, I'm going to go ahead and pick this bad boy up. Besides that, let's move on to the next vendor. What up, dudes? We're currently chilling at the DZ4 vendor. Remember, this is the gear mod vendor. Taking a look at the power level 32 blueprints, we've got a firearms gear mod and a performance gear mod. Now, if you have gear mods that are rolled very high at power level 31, these guys are only going to give you about like a 4 to 6 K increase in terms of whatever you're trying to buff up on your build. That's just from my experience. So, you know, if you have other things that you really need to work on, this might not be your priority, but eventually further down the line, once you start to hit that ceiling, this might be something you want to pick up and start crafting for. Either way, this is what this vendor has to offer. So moving on. All right, guys, last but not least, the DZ5 vendor. I already checked the DZ6 vendor outside of this YouTube video. It's the same old Nomad stuff. So we're going to end this video with the weapon mod. vendor. Looking at the power level 32 mods, we've got the extended magazine. We've seen this many times before, but now is your chance to go ahead and pick it up yet again. This is going to be one of the best ways to increase your DPS if you don't know about that. Crafting this with rate of fire or crit damage is very nice. Maybe even something else if you're working into other parts of your build. But the muzzle brake is going to be very good. A lot of people like AUGs, right? So stability with crit damage works very well for those of you guys who want to do a lot of damage. So honestly, if you don't have any of these yet, both the extended magazine and the muzzle brake blueprints are very good to grab. If you want to go, like I said, I'll always put this out there as a disclaimer. It's not going to give you, from power level 31 to power level 32, you're not going to get huge strides in terms of changes to your build. But if you're looking for just a little bit of increase here and there, power level 32, these are great blueprints to grab. All right, guys. Well, this has been fun. Thank you for joining me yet again for another vendor video. We'll go ahead and do this next week. Next week will be very, very fun because we've got a lot of 1.2 to be streamed all next week. We're going to fit in some Overwatch 2 as well. I'm excited for next week's vendor video because, we're going to have, who knows, maybe we're going to have vendor blueprints or other things, or I don't know, like gear set stuff. Like there's potential there, guys. So next week's going to be a big week for us in terms of streaming, YouTube videos, everything all around. Thank you guys for the support here on YouTube. If you liked the video, make sure to share it and give it a like. If you haven't subscribed already, maybe consider subscribing. I'll see you guys on Twitch, and thank you for the Patreon support. Later.